Dr. Kethra's 4 eyes blinked in sequence as she reviewed the data one final time. The human female, Subject 847, hung suspended in the biostasis chamber, neural interfaces crackling with electricity as they mapped every synapse, every memory, every instinct that made her species so impossibly adaptable. "The psychological conditioning is complete," reported her assistant, his chitinous fingers dancing across holographic displays. "All aggressive tendencies suppressed. Compliance algorithms integrated. She should be perfectly docile upon awakening." Kethra nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at her mind like acid. For 300 cycles, the Zeftai Empire had studied humanity, their rapid technological advancement, their disturbing tendency toward violence, their inexplicable ability to survive in environments that should have killed them. When the first human colony ships had been detected at the edge of Zeftai space, the Council had made a simple decision: study them, understand them, then eliminate the threat they represented. Subject 847 had been acquired during the raid on Earth's outer colonies. While her people fought desperately against Zeftai battlecruisers, she had been selected for her psychological profile: high intelligence, natural leadership qualities, and an unusual capacity for both strategic thinking and emotional resilience. Perfect for their final experiment, the plan was elegant in its simplicity. Create the perfect human leader, one loyal to the Zeftai Empire, stripped of humanity's dangerous independence, then release her among the scattered human survivors, as a false hope, a puppet ruler who would lead her species into willing subjugation. "Initialize revival sequence," Kethra commanded. The chamber hissed open, and Subject 847's eyes fluttered. She was unremarkable by human standards: medium height, brown hair, sharp green eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. But as those eyes focused on Kethra, something cold settled in the scientist's stomach. "Hello, Sarah," Kethra said, using the human's original name. "How do you feel?" Sarah sat up slowly, her movements precise and controlled. "I feel purpose." Her voice was steady, showing no trace of the fear or confusion that should have accompanied awakening in an alien laboratory. "I understand my role now. Perfect." The conditioning had worked flawlessly. Over the following days, Sarah exceeded every expectation. She absorbed Zeftai political doctrine with enthusiasm, demonstrated unwavering loyalty to the Empire, and showed remarkable aptitude for military strategy, though always with the Empire's interests at heart. When the Council finally met to approve the operation, Sarah stood before them like the ideal puppet ruler. "The human colonies are scattered and demoralized," she reported, her tone crisp and professional. "They lack unified leadership and resources. Give me a small fleet and authority to negotiate, and I will bring them into the Empire willingly." Elder Vorthek, ancient and paranoid, leaned forward. "And you feel no attachment to your former species?" Sarah's expression didn't waver. "My loyalty is to order, to the Empire that has shown me truth. Humanity's chaotic independence serves no one." The Council approved the mission unanimously. But Dr. Kethra found herself unable to sleep as Sarah's ship departed for the outer colonies. Something in those green eyes had seemed too perfect, too controlled. She began reviewing the conditioning process, searching for anomalies. 3 months later, the first reports arrived. Sarah had indeed made contact with human colonies, and, rather than negotiating surrender, she had begun organizing them into a unified resistance network. Colony after colony fell under her banner, not as subjects of the Empire, but as free humans ready to fight. Impossible, Vorthak raged as emergency sessions convened. The conditioning was absolute. But Kethra was beginning to understand. She pulled up Sarah's psychological profile again, focusing on one detail that had seemed insignificant. Subject shows unusual resistance to external psychological pressure. Hypothesized as evolutionary adaptation to maintain individual identity under stress. The truth hit her like a plasma bolt. They hadn't broken Sarah at all. They had given her exactly what she needed, complete knowledge of HFY technology, military capabilities, political structure, and strategic weaknesses. Every moment in that laboratory, she had been learning, planning, preparing, and she had let them think their conditioning worked. The war that followed lasted 7 years. Sarah, now calling herself Emperor of Free Humanity, wielded human adaptability like a weapon. Where HFY forces expected predictable tactics, humans under her leadership became fluid, changing strategies mid-battle. They turned captured HFY technology against its creators, modified their own bodies to survive in impossible environments, and fought with the desperate creativity that had made them survive ice ages and asteroid impacts. But it was Sarah's political maneuvering that truly devastated the Empire. She didn't just fight the HFY, she recruited their subject species, promising freedom and showing them that their supposedly invincible overlords could bleed. One by one, the Empire's client races rose in rebellion. Dr. Kethra watched from her prison cell as Sarah's fleet entered orbit around the HFY homeworld. The woman who had once been Subject 847 now commanded a coalition of dozens of species, united not by conquest but by choice. When Sarah finally stood before the defeated council, she looked exactly as she had 3 years ago. Calm, controlled, purposeful. But now Kethra could see what she had missed before. The Predator's patience behind those green eyes. "You wanted to study humanity," Sarah said to the assembled HFY leaders. "Did you learn what you needed to know?" Elder Vorthak, stripped of his ceremonial armor, managed a bitter laugh. "We learned that some tests should never be performed." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "The irony is, you were right about one thing. Humanity did need unification, leadership, purpose. You just assumed you'd be providing it." She gestured to the viewing portal, where ships from 100 worlds waited in formation. "Instead, you gave us the greatest gift possible, a common enemy that forced us to become more than we were." As Sarah established her new government, not an empire of conquest, but a confederation of free worlds, Dr. Kethra finally understood the truth about humans. They weren't dangerous because they were aggressive or adaptable. They were dangerous because they never stopped learning, and sometimes the best teachers were the ones who thought they were the masters.